They say you can tell a lot about a person from what they read. And Kouri Richins, the Utah mother accused of murdering her husband with an overdose of fentanyl and then writing a children's book about grief, has certainly been doing an awful lot of reading. Let's see what we can figure out based on her bookshelf. Hey everybody, it's Chris from Guilty Words, where we unravel crime one word at a time. Tonight we're taking a look at Kouri Richins' bail hearing. Spoiler alert, she was denied bail. But as part of her motion, she included a list of courses and books that she had read for self-improvement. And I want to take a look at her reading choices and see if we can't draw some conclusions about her motivations. The state certainly was not impressed with her efforts and had some very direct words to say about Kouri, her reading, and their thoughts of her getting bail. Let's turn the page on this together. Now, most of what Kouri was studying was sponsored by a Utah organization called Prison Ed, which gives kind of a correspondence course for prisoners to expand their learning. What I want to do is take a look at what Kouri chose to read. She would read these books and answer in-depth self-reflective questions. Winston Churchill, Nelson Mandela, a compendium including Carrie Fisher, Maya Angelou, Ivan Denisovich, if I'm saying that right, a prisoner who spent years in a Siberian labor camp, Teddy Roosevelt, Louis L'Amour, Abigail Adams, Helen Keller. Several of these books are heavy tomes, especially the ones that are about Teddy Roosevelt and Abigail Adams. They are heavy reads and very well-researched, thick books. Keep that in mind because we're going to talk about how fast Kouri read these. In addition to finding deep personal inspiration from those that had overcome incredible odds and done amazing things with their lives, Kouri was going on what I would call a spiritual and personal growth journey. She was reading books like Mindfulness, an 8-week plan for finding peace in a frantic world, The Untethered Soul, Beside Still Waters, 52 Reflections of the Divine Within, The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. Actually, this is one of my favorite books. I'm glad to see she read it. I hope she got something out of it. Freedom Behind Bars, Mentors from Prison. The Shack, Where Tragedy Confronts Eternity. This was a book included in a course for anger management, in which a man whose daughter dies in horrific circumstances has to come to terms with God and himself in the future. The Bible, she did a 4-month Bible study. Life's Greatest Lessons, 20 Things That Matter. Hopefully, as she's doing all this self-reflection, she's coming to terms maybe with her own anger or her own actions. I don't know. She certainly answered a lot of questions and read a lot of pages. And the final category I would call life skills. Beyond Bars, Rejoining Society After Prison. I'm glad she's such an optimist. Word Power Made Easy. The 5 Love Languages of Children, which is a faith-based parenting book. Pocket Workouts, 100 no-equipment workouts. I would add that you can do in your prison cell. Personal Finance Simplified, because Kouri, who ran herself into the ground financially to the tune of over $1 million in debt, would really benefit from some personal finance advice. The same course in personal finance also included The Richest Man in Babylon, which is a classic in financial advice. And Timekeepers. Not how to manage time, but how we became obsessed with it, because Kouri has a lot of time. But she didn't just end with all of these books. There's still more. She also got a letter from the prison chaplain saying, Kouri, she has attended church services and classes very dependably. I can count on Kouri being in class and participating with questions and a high degree of interest in every subject in church service. She has an excellent attitude towards learning. She is intelligent and an excellent student. She participates well in the classroom and seems to get along with her fellow inmates. Overall, Kouri seems to be a mature and all-around upstanding person. But this man is using that word that always sets off bells in my head. She seems to get along with her fellow inmates, and she seems to be a mature and all-around upstanding person. That's not saying she is. She could just be putting on a really good act. But Kouri has another letter of recommendation. And this one is from the president of Prison Ed, who sponsors the correspondence courses. She has participated in the Prison Ed program for a little over 4 months. I've worked with over 1,500 prisoners in the past 12 years. During the time of her participation, Ms. Richins has been the most productive of any student I've had in the number of courses she has completed. She has completed 19 courses. The quality of her work has always been outstanding, mostly superb. At first I didn't think much of this other than, oh brother, except one sentence all of a sudden jumped out at me when I looked at it again. She has participated in the Prison Ed program for a little over 4 months, and she's completed 19 courses. Now these books are pretty much all from the Prison Ed program, so all of these books were read in 4 months, not the whole 17 months she's been incarcerated, in 4 months. So in 4 months, how much is she getting out of this? In addition, she also took a course in seed starting, woody plants, integrated pest management, weed control, and herbaceous plants. Maybe she has plants in her cell? I don't know. But not done yet. Kouri's been busy. She also took Intro to Arts, 15 Fit to Recover classes, and started a prison paralegal studies course. Fit to Recover sounds like sort of like a 12-step recovery program. My goodness, what a woman. So all these books, the self-help, the biographies, the spiritual, reading them constantly, answering all these questions. What did Kouri get out of this? All of this self-study. Well, let me introduce you to this man, Patrick Bertoletti. He's from Chicago, and he is the 2024 champion of hot dog eating. He ate 58 hot dogs and buns in 10 minutes to win the men's competition. Why do I bring up Dear Patrick? Because I want you to think, maybe not about eating so many hot dogs at once, but do you think Patrick really savored those hot dogs? Do you think he really tasted them? I don't think so. He just crammed them down to get the prize. So Kouri, with all of these books in 4 months, no less, she can read books and answer questions. There isn't any proof here that she is really a changed person. There is proof that if she thinks it's going to help her, she'll do something and she'll go big for it. Just like when she was investing in real estate and she was buying mansions. She wasn't buying starter homes and turning them for a smaller profit. Now, the defense had a vested interest in trying to show that Kouri was not a danger should she be let out on bail, and that she had learned from all of these wonderful correspondence courses, was going to go stay with her brother, and everything would be okay if we let her out. The state was not impressed. They said Kouri manipulated an upcoming change of law on purpose in order to have a chance to have this bail hearing, and legal channels can go into that more. They pointed out that positive jail behavior is not a material change in circumstances. In order to be eligible for bail, she would have to prove what is legally considered a material change in circumstances, and behaving in jail wasn't. It was the expectation of what you do. They pointed out the subject's behavior while in a controlled environment does not mitigate the dangers of what she'll do when she gets out. And in a bit of snark, because I love snarky prosecutors, presenting the court with a jailhouse certificate of achievement in faith-based parenting is ironic, not mitigating. Go state, bravo. In addition, presenting a certificate of participation in seed starting and woody plants is beneath this proceeding. They don't think that studying seed starting and woody plants is going to make a whole lot of change to Kouri's personality issues. They also went on to say that she behaved poorly in jail. She had 4 major disciplinary infractions that were upheld on appeal. But they didn't even stop there. They pointed out that she feigned a medical incident for the sole purpose to file a complaint about the staff. She threatened Kouri Richins' sisters in the Walk the Dog letter, "Get the damn bees." In May 2024, she released an audio recording to the media declaring, "This is war." She said she wanted to live with her brother, but the state pointed out the defendant and her brother have demonstrated they will work together to do anything to see that she is not held accountable for Kouri Richins' death. And they used words repeatedly like increasingly aggressive parasitic behavior, to the point where I wondered if that was actually written into the law. The need to create a facade of accomplishment and status were all performed as a common scheme. They don't have a very high opinion of Kouri, and this increasingly aggressive parasitic behavior just brings a picture to my mind of a really disgusting bug in some B-rate horror movie hit by a nuclear bomb. And I was going to put a picture in here of that, but I thought you might still be recovering from Hot Dog Man, so I wouldn't. All of this in totality led to no bail. Not a huge surprise to any of us who have been watching the case. So what conclusions can we draw? I think Kouri's choice of material, although it was kind of limited, speaks to not her sudden desire for personal finance wisdom or to learn about Teddy Roosevelt or to take some amazing lessons from Abigail Adams. It was to look impressive before the court. It was a manipulation to look like she had been using her time so well, and that she was a changed woman, and that she would be safe to go on the outside because, gol darn it, she knew all about Nelson Mandela now. It didn't work. She tried too hard to eat too many hot dogs all at once, and it doesn't come across as someone who is really looking into something to study it, to absorb it, to get the lessons out of it. It comes across as somebody who is just bound and determined that things will look better in court if you're improving yourself. So suddenly, 4 months, she crams all these in. Not the first year that she was incarcerated, but before her bail hearing. Still Kouri, still manipulating, still hasn't changed. The trial is going to be something else again. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I really appreciate you being here. And if you've enjoyed the content, I would be honored to have your subscription and let other people know about it. We've got a lot of great videos coming up and also a fundraiser for the Humane Society. So plenty more to come. And until I see you in the next video, please use your words wisely and well. Take care.